Hello everybody, Master Fox here with another knife review, and today we'll be reviewing this guy. This is the very popular WE Elementum. This is based off of their WE Elementum, a very popular knife that has spawned quite a few variants of it, including a fixed blade. Now they have a well, actually this has been out for a while, but they have a premium version of it, which is this guy. And the price is actually a lot better than you would probably think, especially with the way how WE has been doing their pricing lately. This guy is definitely much more digestible, for lack of a better term. Now, before I get started into the review, I just want to say, if you like knife and EDC related content, please consider subscribing, because I post videos every week, and I'm now doing shorts, and I hope you enjoy this kind of content. And I got plans for this channel, just need to grow it a little bit more, so I really hope you consider subscribing and sticking with me. Well, thank you very much. All right, now let's get into the review. Starting off with length on this guy. Start off with length. There it is. It's been a while since I record. I schedule all my videos, so I had some backed up, but it's actually been a while since I recorded a video, so I'm a little bit rusty. I'm going to be a little sluggish today. It's been a weird week for me. Been working a graveyard shift for the past 3 weeks. It's interesting. All right. So this guy is coming in overall length around 7 inches, and its blade length is coming in just a little bit. As you can see right there, I think I'm measuring this correctly. Pretty much right at the 3-inch, maybe a little bit less, and then your cutting edge is coming in at above 2.5. So I think that is very acceptable. Don't need too much blade, depending on what you're cutting, of course. What's next? Weight. I am assuming this guy is not going to be that heavy. Even. All right. Geez, my stuff is always dusty. Got a lot of stuff. A lot of dust. If I haven't said it before, dust is the bane of my existence. 3.26. So yeah, this guy is light. You're definitely going to feel it in your hand, a little bit of a weight to it. It's nothing like the bug out, the mini bug out. Yeah. Dang. So yeah, this guy, you definitely are going to feel this guy in your hand, but it's not going to weigh down your pocket. You're definitely not going to really notice a weight difference, in my opinion. When I carry this knife, I barely notice a weight difference compared to this knife and the regular Elementum. Size comparison time. All right, let's bring out the big boys. And by big boys, I just mean the ones I use for size comparison. So it's going to be the Benchmade bug out with the carbon fiber and that sweet, sweet S90V. Right there. Booyah. And then the mini bug out. Regular, but the all blacked out one, because it's sweet that way. It's nice and tactical. All right, so this guy is running, the size of this guy is running kind of in between the mini and the full-sized bug out, which is hilarious because I complained when I first handled the bug out. I complained that it was too small for me. I was like, I prefer a bigger knife. This knife is too small. But then I got the Elementum and I fell in love with the WE Elementum, and then found out that the bug out was actually slightly bigger. And I'm like, well, I'm ridiculous. So that's why now I have a bug out. I think there's a little bit of dust on this guy. There you go. So yeah, all right. Sorry, I'm kind of hanging on to this size comparison a little bit too long. I got to run through these, so this video doesn't go on for like 300 years. All right, let's do a size comparison with the Elementum button lock and this WE original Elementum, just so you can see the size comparison. So it's pretty much exactly the same as the original, and yeah, so shorter than the button lock. So the original is pretty much the same. I'm going to do a little bit more comparisons with this guy compared to this guy after we get through all the rest of this review stuff. Next, Spyderco PM2, Spyderco Pro 3, And as you can see, it's pretty much, it's smaller than the Para 3, but that's just because the Para 3 got wonky ratios, but it doesn't really bother me. All right, next. CJRB Feldspar small. CJRB Feldspar full size. Don't laugh at me that I failed that deployment. You're laughing at me, aren't you? I can feel it through the screen. Yeah, so this guy is pretty much somewhere kind of in between these two, but this guy's actually a little bit longer. This guy's got a little bit more forward belly, but this guy's a little bit longer. So the Elementum is still pretty small compared to even the small knife of the Feldspar. And last but not least, I just got to do it, you know. Cold Steel Spada XL. Cold Steel Spada Medium. You see this dust line right here? I need to dust my knives. See this dust line right here? It kind of created, with the handle, how the dust fell on it, kind of makes it look like it has a Hamon line. It's pretty interesting. If I pronounce that correctly. Roast me in the comments if I mispronounce that. Comments help my algorithm. So, roast away. Let's see, I think I got through all the stinking size comparison. Right, now let's go with height on this guy. This guy is not going to be a high knife at all. Let's do the, go, Para 3, and then bug out. So yeah, this guy is not going to be that high. Para 3 is definitely higher, even with that flipper sticking out. The bug out, pretty much the same thing. This guy is actually a little bit shorter than the bug out, just a tad bit, but that flipper tab kind of brings it up to the same level as it. So, interesting. All right. Height, width on this guy. Put it up against the Para 3 again. This guy's thinner than the Para 3, as you can see, especially those pocket clips. This guy has a little bit of a thicker pocket clip, in my opinion. A little bit higher. Yeah. So, there you go. Let's put it up with the, where are you? Bug out. Bug out is just a tad bit thinner, but barely anything. So it's something not really to worry about. I'm actually getting kind of hot in here. Got the heater on because, you know, it's getting pretty cold. But I'm going to take off my jacket. There we go. All right. Next. Blade thickness. Let me get my calibers. Dust is real. All right. We're zeroed in. Blade thickness on this guy. All right. 0.11 inches. The handle thickness. 0.42. Now let's just see if I can do a little bit of the blade. 0.03. So take that with a grain of salt. So I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, where the parameters are at. Now the price on this guy, is actually going to, I think, surprise you. This guy is actually really good for what you get. You get titanium, you get 20 CV, CPM 20 CV steel, which is basically the cousin of M390, and we all know how popular M390 is. But this is basically its cousin, which is 20 CV, and it's really good. I really like 20 CV so far in my testing. The price on it is on Blade HQ. This guy's going to run you $175.95, which I think is a very acceptable and tasty price. Then the price on Knife Center is the same as Blade HQ, $175.95, and or you can get this through WE themselves, which is going to be 207, which is okay, but nowhere near 175. That's definitely much more palatable. And then Amazon is hilarious. Amazon is 175.96. So add a extra penny on that, and you can have this from Amazon. Or save a penny and go to Blade HQ or Knife Center. Every penny adds up, right? A penny saved is a penny earned. So keep your penny. Don't buy from Amazon. Okay. Oh, my caliper's turned back on. I don't want to waste that battery. Batteries are expensive. Next, let's do the cut test before I forget, because I tend to forget that because I'm absent-minded. Now, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember if I sharpened this knife or if this is still factory edge. I know I used the absolute crap out of this knife, as you can see. I can't seem to get that smear cleaned. I think I've sharpened this myself. I am not entirely sure. So this may or may not be factory edge. So take this with a grain of all-season salt. So yeah, not going to be... I think I did sharpen this, but whatever. Let's see how sharp it is. Yeah. Now keep in mind, I did use the tar. I used the absolute tar out of this knife. So the fact that it's cutting a little bit slow and it has some dull spots up in the front, this might be my sharpening work. This might not be factory edge, because I know when I used this knife, it was sharp as craziness. So yeah, like I said, take this with a nice helping of all-season salt. Perfect. All right, so it's not bad. It still will cut. So this is either my wonky sharpening, or maybe I just used the absolute tar out of it, and it needs to be touched up again. But keep in mind that when I did get this out of the box, it was nice and sharp. Okay, so now we got through all that. Now let's get into some of the other specs. So like I said, this is CPM 20CV, which is a really good steel. I believe it's premium, or it might be high end. I think it was high-end steel. This is anodized titanium handles, which is really cool. It's all nice in one piece. There isn't really any skeletonizing in there. They didn't make any, cutouts to reduce weight. It's just basically one thick boy piece of titanium, which I kind of like. And you got yourself a titanium pocket clip. This is not milled, but it is titanium, which is cool. I wish it was recessed into the handle, which would have been cool, but I'm glad the screws are recessed, because if you're not going to recess the clip, please recess the screws. I've destroyed a pair of pants on non-recessed screws and clip. Caught a thread on my pocket and just my pants. It was really bumming. So yeah, I definitely prefer these to be recessed, but if they're not, at least recess the screws. So that's good. I like this, the back spacer, or the barrel standoffs, whatever you want to call them. Right there, they're nice and blue, which is really nice. See if I can get the lighting a little bit better. They're kind of blinding me. There we go. They're nice and blue. I like that, really bright blue. I like how they do their branding right there. Just a WE on the pivot. Gives it a little bit of character and keeps the blade a little bit more sterile. Let's see if I can find... It's right there. That's where the 20 CV is at, which I like. It's off of the blade, out of the way. Can barely see it, which is nice. Now this is a frame lock compared to the original Elementum. Let's do a little bit of comparisons. So as you can see, the original Elementum is a liner lock, and they have steel liners with G10 scales, D2 blade steel, and this one is a satin. This one is a stone wash with a flat grind and a drop point. They're both drop points with a nice swedge on top. But there's the differences between both of the blades. You can also see I used the tar out of this one too. And there you go. This one is a little bit thinner. This guy has a little bit thicker stock. It's pretty interesting, but still keeps the essence of the Elementum. You can just look at this and it's like, yeah, this is an Elementum. And it keeps that little weird cutout right there in the lanyard hole. So it's reminiscent of the original, which is pretty cool. I kind of like it. Here you go. So those are the comparisons between the two. This guy is just using handles. So it's just two pieces of titanium, no liners. So this is just a titanium handle, where this guy is using scales. So action on both of them is fantastic. But one of the things is I'm usually not like a go-to of frame locks. That's just a personal preference of mine. I'm not a really frame lock kind of person. I prefer a liner lock or something like a compression lock or a button lock, even sometimes a back lock when I want to do really hard tasks. But most of the time, I don't gravitate towards frame locks. If I like the design and it's a frame lock, it's good. Frame locks are something I can take or leave. They're not a lock that I seek out. Frame locks are not a lock that I seek out. If it's on a design I love, such as like Arcane Design, because Arcane Design uses pretty much primarily frame locks. But I love Arcane designs, so I buy their designs, pretty much all of them, and they do their frame locks really well. But frame locks are not something that I look into when it comes to a knife design. It's not like ooh, it's a frame lock, definitely got to buy that. Nah, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, I can care less. Uh, but if it's done right, it can definitely be, what's the word? Enjoyable. Definitely not a fan of steel frame locks. In some reviews of mine in the future, you're going to know why. But I'm not a really big fan of steel frame locks. They tend to be very tough to push out of the way, and they just, I don't know. I'm not a really big fan of steel frame locks. Titanium frame locks, on the other hand, definitely like a little bit more than steel frame locks. Well, actually, quite a bit more, because you don't get this weird deep cutout right here in a lot of steel frame locks. They're a lot easier to move out of the way on titanium frame locks. So I definitely like that. And this one also has a steel lock bar insert with a over travel stop, if you can see that. I'm not sure if I can get my lights well. I forgot my flashlight again. Yeah, right there, you can kind of see a little piece of steel sticking out that way. So it has a little bit of an over travel stop, which is always nice. You definitely want a steel lock bar insert, because when you have steel on titanium, it does wear out the titanium a little bit more. So steel on steel is much better. It will keep the longevity of your lockup nice and solid. And this guy has a solid lockup. That is fantastic. Now, out of the box, this guy was actually pretty tough to disengage. You required definitely a considerable amount of force compared to a lot of other companies' frame locks. But over time, this guy did loosen up a little bit. I kind of like broke him in, and now it's definitely usable. Not the fidgetiest thing, because it will tire out your thumb. In my opinion, it tires out my thumb. If I use this guy a lot, we'll fidget with it. But if you're not really fidgeting with it and just using this for a general EDC knife, you probably won't have that issue. And this guy definitely deploys and disengages well. And this guy is also on caged ceramic bearings, which is nice. Love the smooth action on this guy. Definitely feels really good. The D10 is nice and tuned in. You can definitely just access. I love the way how this flipper is designed with the angle of everything. The detent, the pivot, the flipper. It all works very well, just to give you a very smooth and satisfying deployment. I cannot stress how great this deployment is. It works pretty much every time. Now let's see if I can push button it. I'm not sure if that would work. Not a little bit sluggish on the push button, but it really just flicking down is good, very good. And you got yourself 3 relief cutouts right here on the frame lock. Let's see what else. Oh, and I just have to say, if anybody owns this knife, I think they probably would know that when you get this knife, you get it in a pretty nice WE box. It's not their usual packaging where it comes with a pouch, like a lot of WE knives. This one just comes in a box that has a foam cutout of this knife. I forgot to bring the box here, so I apologize for that. I'll probably do a video on it, and just like maybe a short. But if you take this knife out of the box, I think everybody will know that it has a shape that's a little bit, how do I put this without getting censored or demonetized. It has a shape that looks a little bit like a shaft, if you catch my meaning. And if you pull this out of the box and do not laugh at that shape, tell me your secret on how you became so mature, because I really would want to know that. Truly. And I think that's pretty much it. This knife also has a Damascus version, so you can get this really beautiful Damascus blade, but it's over $500, which is a little bit like, whoa, what God blessed that blade to make it over $500. I mean, it is a beautiful Damascus blade, but I really would like to know who's the, price, what's the price thought process. Coffee's good. All right, so I talked about that, and yeah, I think that's everything I really wanted to say about this knife. I think this is a highly recommendable knife. If you love the Elementum but wished it was a little bit more premium, this is definitely something you would want to look into. It may not be for you. Maybe you like the more budgety version of it. This does cost about 3 times the amount of the original Elementum. But if you are a huge Elementum fan, I definitely can say look into this one. You get 20 CV, you get titanium for an absolutely good price. Truly. I mean, I may not be the most savvy on knife quality to price ratio, but if you see what you get here when you hold it, when you use it, it just the materials and everything, the quality and fit and finish, as you can see, it's definitely solid. Yeah, everything is just really nicely done. The edge was just really nicely done. Yeah, I believe I sharpened this. I'm sorry, I believe I did. It's definitely a really high quality knife. For the price, definitely worth it. I think it's definitely worth it. If you're somebody who doesn't like the original Elementum, maybe this might not be the knife for you, or maybe one of the reasons why you didn't like the original Elementum was because it was using a lesser steel, even though D2 is still good. So if you preferred more premium steels, then this might, or higher end steels, this might be something for you to look into. And I know a lot of people, I think, say that one of the reasons why they don't like the Elementum is because it's too small. But actually, I think this is a really good, just general EDC size. I think anybody would love to have this knife. It fits my hand pretty well. And I think I have medium-sized hands. They're not big. They're not too tiny. But I could get a full finger purchase on this guy with the perfectly placed jimping, do some really nice, push cuts, just slicing work. Can get it up here, do some detail work with the tip. It's got a nice pointy tip with enough meat behind it to keep it strong, which is really nice. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. Love the work on it. Oh, and there's also different versions of this. You can get like a bronze with a black blade, and I believe, hold on, what was the other one? I think there was like an all gray titanium. And look at how they did this titanium. It's really nice. Like they tumbled it. It's really, really nice. Definitely a recommendable knife. I can definitely recommend this knife for the price and everything, especially what you get finish wise. Definitely recommendable. Well, I think that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like this video, please leave a like. If you like more knife and EDC related content, check out my other videos. Remember to subscribe because I post every Saturday and every other Sunday. I'll be in more knives and more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye.